everyone, welcome back to Voidheart Studios, and today I've got a behemoth. I am going to be reviewing the Misplaced Moose M0053-2, also known as Moose 2. He just uses leet speak apparently. But yes, I have finally scored the almighty Moose 2. The Moose 2 is a 3D printed. The Moose 2 is a 3D printed blaster designed by Misplaced Moose, obviously. And it is a spring-powered, side-prime, bullpup, magazine-fed, half-length mega blaster that is capable of blowing a hole through a Whataburger cup. Hey, I'm a fat ass from Texas. You can't judge me for using the Whataburger cup. But anyways, let us get on with the overview. Starting up at the front, you have the glorious Mega B car, which of course can apparently pull the entire barrel out. Be careful with that. But I need to look into that. But anyways, the Mega B car is glorious. Of course, it's a B car for Mega. Wonder why it's called the Mega B car. But this is Moose's own design. It is a 7x6 B car. That is 6 rows of 7 bearings. My Gavin Fuzzy B car, which I don't know if you can see, but it's on my Caliburn, has 9 bearings. The Dark Zone B car, which is on my Lynx, has 12 bearings. This B car has 42. But of course, it takes a lot to spin a Mega Dart. And that's pretty cool. Getting back here, you have the angled foregrip, which is mounted on Picatinny rail. There's a long piece of Picatinny rail on the bottom here that goes in front of the grip and trigger. And this foregrip is very nice. It's very beefy. It feels good to use. And it's overall nice. Up at the top here, you have the carry handle mounted onto 2 separate Picatinny rails. Of course, since this entire piece here is the priming block, you can't really have a top Picatinny rail. That's why Moose in most of his builds for this thing includes this carry handle. And of course, I'm pretty sure it's also included in the files, obviously. And this carry handle is actually 3 separate pieces. There's the carry handle itself, the front sight, which has a little bit of tack rail on it, and the rear sight, which also has a little bit of, which doesn't have any tack rail on it, but they're both removable, so yeah, you can put on whatever sights or optics you so desire. And of course, back here on the side, and this has been custom mounted on the left side for me. If you don't specifically ask for that, it will be on the right side, because I am left-handed. I am left-handed in everything. I'm a left-handed shooter, I'm a left-handed eater, I'm a left-handed writer. So, I wanted mine on the left. And it comes at no extra cost, because, as Moose told me, it is as simple as mirroring 2 files. And of course, to prime it back, you pull back on the priming handle, and you send her home to chamber a dart. This is the, well, it's kind of a custom spring. for this specific configuration, K25 isn't powerful enough. But K14 might result in a hard prime for me because I like comfortable prime over, you know, chasing numbers. So mine has a special spring called T21. This is not a spring that's available on his website. Do take note of that. If you're going to get the battle rifle configuration or any of the like big ones, you'll probably want to go for K14 or K12. But just note, you'll need some muscle mass on you to be able to adequately prime those. Of course, down here is the grip and the trigger. The grip is super smooth, has all the individual finger choils, and it's just really nice. I mean, I can hold this heavy blaster one-handed and it doesn't feel overly wonky. It's very, very well balanced. And that's probably due to the giant metal U channel that runs through the entire blaster. Oh yeah, this is also the fun button. The amount of power in this blaster, despite the fact I don't even have the strongest spring you can have, is crazy. Of course, back here you have the stock, and this is where the mag comes out. This is a bullpup blaster. That means the mag feeds behind the grip. It's like the Lynx or the X-Shot Long Shot. And this is a custom half-length mega magazine taking Moose's half-length mega darts. Now, Moose's blasters weren't the first appearance of half-length mega darts. It was actually a pistol called the Fire Phoenix. I don't know if Moose's mega darts are a different size, but they are 53 millimeters long. And yeah, the mag just slides in behind the grip, and this little orange piece is the mag release. It doesn't grab drop, but you wouldn't want to grab drop a printed mag anyways. And this is the largest size his half-length mega mags come in, and it is a 12-round magazine. And if you're complaining that 12 is a small capacity, remember, this thing shoots mega darts. It's going to be hard to have a big capacity for a big dart. If it were a proper 18-round mag, it would probably be like this long. So, just count your blessings while you have them. And of course, back here we have the butt plate. It's very comfortable to use. Although, it is hard being printed material. One of the things I might do to this is I might get some foam from something and pad the butt plate. But that's not a fault of Moose. That's a fault of it being printed material. And of course, I have it printed up in the colors of my Sona. If you've never seen my Sona, Alphacus Voidheart, he's the one that appears on my stream starting screen. And this is his color scheme, and it even has Envy on the side because Alphacus is, well, he has some aspects of envy to him. Of course, on the other side, you have engraved in the plastic. Of course, Moose 2, 19x53 HL. 19 is the width of the Mega Dart, 19 millimeters. 53 is the length of the Mega Dart, 53 millimeters. And HL is half length. If this were the full-length variant, it would, of course, have different nomenclature. But, yeah. I'm going to fire a couple more shots of it. And I'm going to get to an interesting feature with the mag. Now, the magazine has two interesting features. One of them accidental, and one of them on purpose. This mag will actually warn you when you're on your last shot and when you've run dry. When you're on your last shot is the accidental one. If you've never heard of print zip, it is a sound that happens when printed materials rub together. that sound, that's print zip. Of course, since the pusher rubs up against the follower, you have a little extra print zip letting you know that you're on your last round. And when it's empty, this is really cool. The follower protrudes a little further and actually stops the pusher. Of course, if you take the mag out, you can close it on empty, but you obviously don't want to dry fire something capable of shooting mega at 230 FPS. So you want to throw a dart in there and send her back home and send that thing across the field. Yeah, this thing is really cool. And let me just kind of ramble on about it a little bit. This thing is insanely cool. You know what? No, I'm going to do my ramblings after the firing demo. But yeah, that's all I have to say overview-wise about the Moose 2. Let's go take it out to the range, and let's have some fun. We are out on the range with the Moose 2, with actually a decent amount of sunlight today. Of course, I'm going to be shooting the half-length mega darts. I got 3 mags loaded up, all of them with these. Let's go. Do a couple distant shots. That one peaked at 100 feet. Do one more distant shot. They're clearing 100 feet, like, before they even peak. And this isn't even on the highest setting. Well, that was the firing demo. Is it starting to rain? I think it's starting to rain. I'm gonna go clean up real quick before it rains, and then I'll talk about it inside. Hello everyone, we are back inside after the firing demo. Now let us rant and rave and ramble about how cool this thing is. First off, I put this blaster up over my chronograph. No more chronographs on the bed. No. Anyways, I put this blaster up over my chronograph, and I achieved an average velocity of about 201 FPS. This again is not the strongest option. The strongest options will put you up into like the 230 range. Like the 230, 240 range. This is just the option I picked because it gives me a reasonable prime. And it's, you know, that's what I care about most of all, is having a comfortable blaster. Now let's talk about this thing and how cool it is. Because not only is this blaster really cool and really powerful, it's also extremely customizable. This thing has so many different ways you can customize it. Of course, you can buy the base blaster by itself. That's whatever. But of course, all you get is just the blaster. You don't get the B-car, you don't get the barrel shroud, you don't get any of this. Of course, there is the B-car. And Moose is working on something right now called the knob car, which uses kind of the same silhouette, but instead of using bearings, it uses little printed bumps on the inside to act like a mega P-car, essentially. But rather than using continuous threading, it uses little plastic knobs. Of course, that's why it's called a knob car. So that's already soon to be 2 rifling options. And then there are 3 different barrel shroud options. There's this one, which is the default one. There is one that has a faux muzzle brake that protrudes out about here in front of or above the barrel. And then there's one with a built-in 40 max launcher. So if you have any, 40 max canisters lying around that happen to have Nerf shells attached to them, you can fire those out of the Moose 2 as an integrated master key. If you so choose to have that option. This, of course, doesn't. This is just free space. I mean, you can enclose it in, add a hinged door, and make it a snack compartment if you want. I might do that. This thing looks like it could hold an absolutely insane amount of Skittles. Fat-ass engineering. Anyways, of course you also have the carry handle and the sights, which they are their own pieces, and you can get them as well. There's also the big chungus down here, the foregrip. And this blaster isn't even exclusively half-length. If you don't want to deal with, buying expensive half-length mega darts or custom making your own, I'll get to that in a second. This blaster can also be full-length mega. And Moose makes and sells his own custom, cross-compatible with the Centurion, full-length mega magazines. It's preferable to run this thing with half-lengths because they get more range, but you know what? You will do what you will do. if you want to see a full-length Moose 2 in action, watch Captain Xavier's review on it. But overall, my favorite feature about this blaster and how customizable it is, there are entire different roll builds for this thing. There's, of course, the base blaster, which you can see in the picture here. Then Moose also has the CQB version, the battle rifle version, which is what this is, the sniper rifle version, as well as a few others. One I consider in between these is the pure intimidation build, as it's just a longer sniper build. And then there's also the Hubris and Flux Incapacitator, which is, of course, builds he has made for content creators, Wacom S7 and Dr. Flux. And those are just like, they're the Mega configuration, but instead of having the two default barrel shrouds, it just has the 140 max shroud. But of course, how the configurations work is the CQB configuration is just the base blaster with the iron sights, the B-car, and the and like a short barrel. The battle rifle configuration is the blaster with one barrel shroud, the foregrip, the carry handle, as well as the iron sights, a medium-sized barrel, and the B-car. The sniper rifle configuration has the blaster with a long barrel, two barrel shroud pieces, the B-car, and the carry handle with the sights. The pure intimidation is the blaster with a super long barrel, the B-car, carry handle, sights, whatever, and three of the pieces, one of them being the one with the muzzle brake. And then, like I said, the Hubris and Flux Incapacitator versions are, they're kind of specialty. They're the sniper variant, but instead of having two things, there's just one, and it has the 40 max launcher. Envy here will probably, most likely, not be one of those special builds, because I'm not a cool content creator, and I didn't order anything special with mine. It's just a battle rifle configuration that's relatively convenient for me to prime. I mean, it is really convenient for me to prime. It is, the prime is nice and light. I mean, I'm not going to prime it right now. I don't have anything in the mag, but yeah. Let's talk about another thing that you get with the Moose 2. It's not an accessory, but it is this piece. I'm pretty sure this comes with all pre-built Moose 2s. And it comes with the files if you're going to 3D print your own, because Moose also does sell the files and the hardware. But this is a Mega Dart cutting jig. You take and you stick your Mega Darts in here, and they go like that. And then you take a sharp object of your choice. This is a utility knife. And you just cut through, and then you push out, and congratulations, you have made a half-length Mega Dart. And this can now be taken and just popped in the mag, and fired through your Moose 2. Just like that. Speaking of, this thing is picky with darts. Due to being a Mega Blaster that uses a compression barrel, it has feeding issues with Hasbro's Mega Darts. This is a standard Hasbro Mega Dart, and this is a standard Hasbro Mega AccuStrike Dart. This one's Fortnite from the gold tactical shotgun thing. But it doesn't like these very often. It'll feed them, but it won't be consistent, it won't be well, and of course you'll have FPS issues. The reason being is because the heads are the same diameter as the shaft. What you want is these. These are NF Strike Whirlwind Mega Darts. Oh, my allergies do not like the weather change. It makes me sound like I'm dying. Anyways, sorry. I'm so weird. These have a head that is slightly smaller than the shaft. And so it works in compression barrels like how your half darts do. Because half darts also have a head that is slightly smaller in diameter than the shaft. And that is how these are, and that's why, you know, you can make mega half darts, because honestly, if these didn't exist, I don't think mega compression barrel blasters would have lasted beyond like the mega burn. So yeah. And these are actually relatively cheap, because mega darts are harder and more costly to make than elite darts. And so that's why, you know, everyone has them at a crazy markup. NF Strike, you can buy 200 of these full-length mega darts for $45, which sounds like a lot for darts, but again, 240 mega darts. Yeah, 100 Dart Zone Ember darts costs $10 at Walmart. But that is so much less foam, so much less rubber than, you know, full-length mega. So yeah, the $45 for 240 on NF Strike is actually a pretty good price. And then, you know, getting your little cutting jig here, you can take and you can just cut out half-length mega darts, 6 at a time, which I wonder if it would be possible to make bigger ones. I mean, you probably could just by like lining up the file. You could make like a 12 dart cutting jig, and it'd be too big for like any 3D printer, but yeah, you take what you can get. So yeah, this thing is pretty cool, because nobody makes their own, you know, mega half-length darts, since none of the big companies have decided to try. Cowards. You have to make them yourself, or buy them from Moose, which is going to be more expensive than, you know, getting 204 and then just getting a big pack of these and, you know, buying or printing the cutting jig. Hell, I think buying an adequate amount of half-length mega darts from Moose is more expensive than buying, you know, the same amount of these and the cutting jig and whatever sharp thing you use to cut them. So it is more advised to go that route. But yeah, overall the Moose 2 is a really cool blaster with a lot of really cool ways you can customize it. And again, high FPS mega. What more is there to say? Like, this thing can shoot mega from silly shells at like probably 100 FPS. So can the PBR bow up there. But this thing shoots mega from a magazine at up to 230. John Mega Blaster. I mean, I know the Caliburn and the Ranger exist, and there's also the Moose 1. But this is John Mega Blaster. The Moose 1 and the Moose 2, they're like some of the easiest to access. They're definitely, from what I've been told, the easiest Mega Blaster, high-powered Mega Blasters to build. And they are very, very fun to use. So, yeah. Of course, if you want to get a Moose 2, I will put buy links in the description below. I will be putting a lot of buy links in the description below because, well, I'm going to be linking the hardware kit for those of you who have a printer and will want to print your own. I will be posting a link to the base blaster fully built, the CQB build, the battle rifle build, the sniper rifle build, and the pure intimidation build. Just for anybody who wants to get their hands on a Moose 2 and, you have the variety, it's in your hands. And with all that being said, it's time to end the video. If you did enjoy this video, then please do leave a like and subscribe and hype and all the other nonsensical YouTube corporate algorithm jargon to make sure you let YouTube know that you like my content and you want to see more of it. And comment your favorite Misplaced Moose design. And I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.